Hi guys, it's Didi here and I'm so excited to do today's video because it's questions and answers. You ask and then I answer. So I try to group the questions you asked in various groups because there were few on Mika and then about me, and then there were lots of questions about Montessori. I think, depending on time, that I might leave the Montessori for a separate video. Just to make sure that I add as much value as possible there. And then let's get started. So regarding Mika, how old is Mika? Mika, how old are you?
4 years and 9 months.
4 years and 9 months. And is it fun? When is your birthday? Which month? Which month?
August.
August.
And Mika is August too.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, Mika. So Mika is 4 years, 9 months. He'll be 5 in the end of August. What language do I speak to Mika? I speak to him Bulgarian 90-95% of the time. I am Bulgarian myself. His dad is Bulgarian. It doesn't make sense to us to speak between each other in English. And his first language is Bulgarian. I feel that he's now picking up his English because it wasn't as good, and definitely it's not yet as good as his Bulgarian. But since he's been going to school, I can see that sometimes he's addressing me in English as well. I only do that when I do my Insta stories or when I do my vlogs, and that's why it comes as a surprise to him sometimes. Why does mommy speak English to me? What's going on? But this is the reason. Does Mika eat sweets now? Yeah, I mean, for those of you that have been following for a while, you would know that we've raised Mika on a gluten-free diet, sugar-free diet. He's now almost 5, as I said. Since last year, he's been eating sweets, and by sweets, I mean what he calls chocolate. It's actually a bar that is made of almonds and maca and chia seeds and dates, but it's still sweets. What he calls ice cream is actually sorbet, but he's tried, I think, already twice ice cream as well. So I don't think I can control his environment anymore. It's been easy since I was making his lunch and I was, he was with us most of the time, and we didn't introduce him to anything that he would feel attracted to. But now, since he went to school, I actually opted for a school lunch, so I let go of it for the first time, and I'm sure he eats sweets there. So yeah. I guess on average, in comparison to other children, it's by far much less, but still he would eat. Is Mika still away from the TV? I noticed that you don't have one at home. Yes, we don't have a TV. I don't have TV for so many years. We don't watch TV, so it would be weird if we buy TV just for Mika to watch. And then I've been against him being crazed watching TV, which means like YouTube or whatever movies are. Now he's watching versus before, so it took us pretty long time, apart from my mom when she visits and she'll put him in front of YouTube, to introduce him to movies. But he would watch as an exception during the week, sometimes during the weekend. What we try to do is to occupy him with something else so he has an alternative. And what I mostly try to do is to make sure that I don't build certain habits. Let's say he's unhappy and bored, that's why he will watch TV. If he's about to watch, by TV I mean YouTube, certain things on YouTube, then I want to make sure he's happy and he's in a good mood, then he can get it. Because I don't want to create this pattern where he would say, I'm unhappy, I need a distraction, let me put you in front of the TV. In the same way, we'll never allow him to watch anything in restaurants or usually when we have guests, very rarely depending on the guests, because we want, again, not to build this pattern of, guests or mommy and daddy are busy talking, I need to watch TV. And this really helps. So on average, during the week, he hardly watches anything. If he watches YouTube, usually these are movies that he watches with me, let's say How We Build Bridges, or the 10 biggest cars in the world, or the 10 biggest trains and fastest trains. But he likes also things like Dino Tracks, I think, in Netflix. So yeah, I mean, he's a little boy growing up. What are some of my favorite children's books? I recently, and then I think somebody asked me that before, and I did a screenshot of lots of these books as well. There are many. So recently I found an author that I really liked, Richard Scarry's. So I think he had about 10, 12 books. We got them all, and they've been published back in the 80s, I think some of them back in the 60s, but I still find them very relevant. And this is something which is our favorite at the moment. Then I like the children's books by Wayne Dyer. There are lots of other books that are in rhymes that I really like. But instead of me telling you my favorites, probably I'll link below I think that Alexandra, my friend from the Big Life Journal, they had an extensive list of children's books for different age groups. So 1 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 12. So I think that you might find helpful. Right, so next question. Do you follow an exact routine with Mika? Does he go to sleep at the same time every night, gets food, etc.? I actually do now. I'm much better than before because he was very much on-demand baby and because we travel so often. So we don't really have a lifestyle that is 300 days a year the same. We do travel a lot, and his dad travels even much more than that. So it's not a very strict one, but since he went to school, I want to make sure he has a good night's sleep. So usually between 7:30 and 8:30, I'll start preparing him for going to bed. And yeah, I think there are certain benefits of it. Okay, that's it for Mika. So now on me. There were a few questions about me, which, yeah, okay, I'm going to address. So one says, hi, Didi, can you tell something about yourself? Why did you leave Bulgaria? Why I chose England of all places? Why I opened the school. So this is a pretty extensive one. I'll touch upon it. And where is my accent coming from? Another question. So I'm Bulgarian. Bulgaria is a small country in Eastern Europe. We have neighbors around us, Romanians on the north, and Greece on the south, and Turkey, and Macedonia, and Serbia. And then we have the Black Sea coast. It's a very pretty country. We have the mountains as well, but it's tiny. We have about probably 7 million population at the moment. And I've been raised there. I moved to London about 12 years ago. I've never envisioned my life as such. I did not choose England. I didn't think at all that I would live outside of Bulgaria, actually. I thought that I would travel a lot, but it wasn't a conscious choice. Oh yes, I really want to move to the UK or somewhere else. So what happened was I worked in finance. So I was the chief financial officer for an American company that has a representation in Bulgaria. And I had, for the past 2 years of my work there, few responsibilities for few countries around Bulgaria as well. So they promoted me. The promotion was, do you want to come and join our team in London, in the UK, where the Europe, Middle East and Africans team was. So that's what I did. I said, wow, that's an amazing opportunity. I've never thought about leaving Bulgaria because I had a very good lifestyle at the time. I had a pretty good position. You know, we traveled a lot. It was a lot of work, but I sincerely enjoyed it. But that opened new possibilities for me, and that's how I moved to London. It wasn't a big change for me because when I came here, I knew the company, I knew most of my colleagues because I've been traveling with them before. So I didn't have to look for a job. I didn't have to go through so many struggles that a lot of people who move without a job have to. And most importantly, I didn't leave Bulgaria escaping something. There are a lot of people who emigrate or leave their countries because they feel that there is a better life somewhere. I had a pretty good life there. I'm building my good life here as well. So for me, I don't have this attachment to specific places. I don't suffer from nostalgia. I don't feel that, you know, my roots are somewhere and it's hard for me to leave. I actually feel that I am a child of the planet Earth, and regardless where I live, it's up to me to create the life that I want to create. So I've been enjoying London since then. I think it's one of the most beautiful places to be in. Not only beautiful, but in terms of opportunities and lifestyle and people. And I really, really love London. So if I decide to move somewhere, I don't know, that probably will be the US for a while or somewhere else where I will have the possibility to explore. So that's why I chose England. England chose me. That's what it happened. Why I opened the school, this is a longer story. Why I left corporate, why I left my finance career, which I enjoyed for over 12, 15 years. And there are many reasons for that. The most important was Mika was born, so I decided it's time for a change. The school is very much a passion thing for me. I just wanted to create something that's outstanding, that's amazing, that provides such a great care for the children at times when we need to understand that life changes so rapidly that we don't really know how we prepare our kids for that. So yes, the school, of course, it's been around for a year now, and it's been quite tough and interesting and rewarding journey as well at the same time. Okay, so I hope that's explained. Hi Didi, it seems that you read a lot. When do you manage? I do read a lot. Yes, I do read a lot. In fact, not having TV helps. I think that a lot of people spend lots of time watching TV. We don't have TV, we never had, so it's much easier for us. Also, it helps when Mika was born, because before that, when I was in my flying career in corporate, I actually hardly ever read something. I would read only on the tube, on my way to work, on my Kindle. But my life would be 7:30, 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the office. And then when I go home, we'll just go out for dinner or walk somewhere. So for us, it was quality time, talking, walking, rather than sitting down and eating. Since Mika was born, for the first year, I was out most of the time with the pram. So I discovered audiobooks. I was all the time listening to something. Then I discovered podcasts, of course. I still prefer by far reading book versus listening to books. My attention span when listening is not great at all, so I need to listen to many times, and then I cannot bookmark really. But I do enjoy listening to certain books when I listen to them many times over and over again. Let's say Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. I would listen to it when in my bed, when I'm falling asleep, let's say, a few times. I would listen to Esther Hicks a few times. So there are certain books that I prefer to listen to, especially when their voices are there to help me. Right, yeah. So what I was saying was that because Mika is born and we hardly go to cinema, hardly do anything. When he goes to bed, it provides ample opportunity for us to read. And of course, when you love reading, it's easy. Hi Didi, tell us what's your favorite thing to do in the world? Apart from eating chocolate. Yes, I love eating chocolate, but it's one of my favorite things. Okay, of course, from spending time with Mika and family, one of the favorite things that I can see consistently throughout the years is love for learning. I really, really, really do enjoy and love learning. In fact, I can be a lifelong student and learning different things all the time. So, you know, a lot of people were surprised when after the psychology I did the finance, and then I did so many courses, and I did coaching, and now I did Montessori diploma, which is pretty hard as well for 2 years. I really enjoy learning, so for me, I don't think it's a big deal. But yeah, I think that's what helps me a lot as well in building different opinions and being open-minded, and also you know, to have this understanding of the world the way I have it. It's just because I love learning, and I love learning different things. I recommend now that you check out Masterclass. Masterclass has different experts in different fields, either filmmakers or movie stars or astronauts who are teaching their class or something, and they're short. It's an amazing opportunity. And then, of course, TED Talks. What is your accent from? I covered that. Yes, so hi Didi, I love your channel. Thank you for your videos. Thank you. You often talk about surrounding yourself with the right people who uplift you. Can you talk about finding mentors? I would say here, when the student is ready, the teacher will show up. I've been struggling with the same thing, repeating to myself, oh, it's so hard to find mentors. How am I supposed to find mentors? It is not hard if you don't come from a place of lack. Of course, if you think it's hard, it's going to be hard. I have lots of my mentors who are virtual mentors. They are not my personal mentors, but they are mentoring me. And I would say Tony Robbins is one. I love his work. I've been to his courses. You can get them. They're not even that expensive anymore. Brandon Burchard, I've been to his courses. He's a mentor of mine. Seth Godin, Gary Vee. And then I would have Wim Hof. I want to mention him. He's the Iceman, if you haven't heard of him. So there are different people from different fields that I consider as mentors. And of course, so many books that I read are full of mentorship. In fact, also I have lots of friends who act as mentors with whom I would brainstorm on different things, and certain friends are really great at certain types of things. Let's say my friend Michael, who is always helping with certain types of things, and my friend Chrissy, or you know, my friends Mimi and Alex, or my friend Biljana. So we always have this little community where we brainstorm together and we push ourselves so we can uplift ourselves. But come from a place of who you want to be, so that these people would want to talk to you and be attracted to you as well. Right, so I have this question which was interesting because I've been thinking a lot about that. So the universe is sending me the question so that I can even think more about that. Talk about friendship and my best friend. So thank you, Nora, for the question. Friendship is really important for me because not only I'm super extrovert and I need people around me, I definitely do need to keep my sanity, but I also truly value relationship with people. So for me, I consider myself as an extremely loyal friend with high integrity, and when the friend is a friend, I'm backing them up like 100%. That said, probably there are certain things that I'm looking for in a friendship. The same things, I guess, integrity and loyalty and people being there for you. There are certain things that I value in my friends. Let's say I really value generosity because that's who I am. And then I sort of attract similar people. So generosity, people who are kind, people who are caring, these are things that are normally things that I'm looking for in my friends. In terms of best friend, I have many best friends. I don't like, depending on where you are in life, when you have a child, you may become closer to someone who is time off and having a child as well, or if you're back to work and you spend more time with different people there, maybe you become closer for this particular time with this sort of people. But I have friends who dated back 20 years ago, who are still my friends, and they live in Paris or in Brussels or in Bulgaria. But every time when we're on the phone, we are like, we haven't said goodbye. Like, we are always feeling the same way. So I have very old dated friends. Then I have Bibi, who is my friend for 30 plus years because we've been childhood friends. Then I have around me my friend Chrissy, who just recently has a baby, probably you've seen her in my vlogs. Then I have Mimi and Alex, who are one of my recent friends because they came about 5 years ago into my life. And I have lots of other friends who live in the US or in Toronto, in any other places, which I just simply appreciate. And when I have the opportunity to spend time with them, I'm simply appreciative and grateful for it. Right, I don't know whether I answered your question actually, but again, I've lost my questions here. Let's see what else. Okay, besides Dweck's book, would you have some other recommendations for parenting books? Dweck book, that's Carol Dweck's book, Mindset. Of course, I think it's a must for every parent, teacher, coach. And then I would recommend, the other thing that changed really a lot of how I approached parenting, and that was 4 years ago when I read this book, maybe when Mika was born, was The Conscious Parent by Dr. Shefali Tsabari. I think every parent needs to read that one as well, but there are many other books. The 5 Love Languages of Children I found helpful in certain ways. The Whole Brain Child by Daniel Siegel. Then How to Talk to Kids So They Listen. Again, I probably referred you to my friend's blog, The Big Life Journal, just because they're so good at putting together these lists of books that are helpful in certain areas, and I'll link the comments below, so go down and find the books that they recommend. I think you might find them helpful too. What are your favorite books? Oh my God, this is like a really hard question, because all the people that I mentioned, my mentors, they would have books that I've read over and over again. I am a bookworm, so when I was a child I would read a lot, and I didn't read any personal development books or business books until my 30s. Yeah, so long time ago, but I didn't read until then. All I would read would have been novels at the time. So there are certain authors that I loved, like Romain Gary, who is not that popular, I guess, in the Western countries, I don't know, maybe he is now. But also I would read, of course, Ray Bradbury, I loved his books. Kurt Vonnegut was one of my favorite. One of my all-time favorites, and I've read it probably every 5 years, I reread it. It's 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Absolutely in love with this book. Of course, I've read the classics. I've read the Lev Tolstoy and Dostoevsky. I really enjoyed his books as well. Coming from Bulgaria, you know, Russia was our sister in many ways, so I enjoyed them. However, Ayn Rand, I can mention, I really lived in her world for a while. I don't read novels anymore. It's something which I probably want to come back to, but I don't see when and how, because now all I read are personal development books or business books. So most recently I would read The Big Leap, then I read The Complaint-Free World, as you know, because I did the Complaint-Free challenge. Then the E-Myth Revisited is something which I can recommend, but these are things that are currently on my shelves. Oh, I forgot to mention Fifth Agreement and The Fourth Agreement by Don Miguel Ruiz are always favorite books. Again, you need to be at a certain stage in your life to get it. When I read them for the first time 5 years ago, I remember Mika was born, I couldn't really connect to any of the content. Now, oh my God, you know, that's the book. And then The Power of Now, I listen to this one quite often. And again, every time I discover something new. Next question. Hi Didi, how do you keep your motivation going? Some days I don't feel like doing anything. I personally feel that motivation is overrated, because you either do something or you don't. And if you're waiting for motivation or inspiration to track you and to, you know, to pull you out, maybe, you know, you can wait forever. I most definitely wouldn't wait. That's something which Tony Robbins always talks about. He says, he's priming himself in the morning to be able to respond to the situation the way he wants to respond, rather than being put out by situations. So what I personally am motivated by is, do I add value? Do I do something meaningful? Do I learn something in the process? Because if I don't hang on these things, then I can find a lot of days that will just go without any sense into them. So what I mean by that is, years ago I remember I worked in corporate and I had this job that every morning when I go there I felt that it doesn't give me a sense of purpose. So I felt that, okay, what do I do here? Even if the whole building disappears tomorrow, what's the impact on people's lives? I couldn't see what the impact of my work there would be. So I literally, before I get into the building, I will negotiate in my head and said, okay, find something that you learned today, because then you wouldn't feel that the day is wasted. There is always something to learn, whether it's a new Excel formula, whether it's a new way of resolving a problem, whether it's a new communication to someone, you make their day happier and nicer. That's something which you can take out with you after. So I would recommend, commit yourself to the things you want to do. And once you take this decision and once you put this intention out there, just follow through. Don't wait for motivation to come. Do it even if you don't feel like doing it, because at least for me, that's very different for everyone. For me, when I decide that I want to do something and I don't want to make it negotiable, then I get my alignment from the fact that I do not wallow in the negative feelings. I would recommend the books Turning Pro or The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. I think at the time when I read it, it really helped me. And I would always recommend Seth Godin's books, because I feel that because of their calling to do the work you're meant to do, it helps you a lot when you feel you're down or you feel that you're stuck and you don't want to take action. For me, at least, that has been a savior. That's it. I have lots of questions on the Montessori, starting from how I open the school, what can I do for my child when they're 10 months old. So there are lots of questions that I feel now, this video being so long, it doesn't make sense for me to do it now, but I will record this video for you guys. Thank you so much for asking. And then I will come up with part 2 the next week, specifically on Montessori. Thank you so much. I love answering your questions. If you want to ask me anything else, always, I'm here. You can either send me a question below, which I love reading, and your comments, but also ping me on Instagram stories or follow my Instagram account and just ask me there in the comments. Thank you so much, guys. See you soon.